Flavor, hi. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Hello. Hello, Chini. Hi. Aljanina, welcome. You're welcome, guys. Let's just wait for a couple more people. Hi. Let me write down a topic. How getting portion control right. I hope it does post. Okay. Where is everybody? Hi. Welcome, guys. Welcome. All right. So I think we can just start. All right. So my name is Odwaya. For those of us that are new here, I am the face behind at Optimum Foodie. I am a nutritionist and also a pharmacist, and I'm obsessed with food. So I help people achieve their health and their body goals through food. People build healthy relationships with food, especially Nigerian food, because I'm Nigerian. So yeah, and I'm also the author of this book titled "What Should I Be Eating?" I'll talk more about it later. But yeah, basically today we are going to be talking about portion control. All right, you guys. 1 second. I think I have somebody at the door.
I always put the lights here. I'm glad you must be told. No, I'm not supposed to stay in that place.
Sorry. I didn't even hear you calling that though. Alright. So today we are going to be talking about portion control. And yes, by the way, I have a cold. I think you can already hear it in my voice. So I might cough, I might sneeze, I'll be sneezing and coughing and all the kata things. So just bear with us. Alright, so we're going to talk about portion control today. And of course some of the mistakes that we make. But basically I'm just going to be teaching us how to do it right and still lose weight basically, and the different phases of it and the things to check out for when it seems not to be working, because it does work. Alright? It doesn't have to be that complex. I'm really obsessed with counting calories and stuff like that, but it's not necessarily for everybody. So if you're not a counting calories person, then this is definitely something that you should be interested in. Tommy. Hi. All right. So now, many times I've discussed exactly how we lose weight, how we burn fat. Now, portion control is one method. We talk about counting calories, we talk about eating a balanced diet, talk about paleo diet, talk about being vegan, there's keto diet. There's just so many different things and ways that you can go about losing weight. But among all the different methods, among all the different, so I saw through it's Pele, is everywhere. I don't know, it's everywhere. It's the weather. What was I saying? Okay, so among all the different methods that are available, they all have one thing in common, and the thing that they have in common is the fact that they help to create a calorie deficit, which ends up helping you lose weight. That is central. However way you want to achieve it, that is what's happening. You're achieving a calorie deficit when you do portion control. That's what you're trying to do, even though you don't realize it, but that's what's happening. Okay, so that's cleared. Before we start going into the portions of each food, I want us to first go through the classes of food. Now, it seems like a simple thing, but I realized that some things that I feel people know, I realized either they don't know or they are mixing things up, or they're just not really sure. So I mean, if I'm going to say this is the amount of starch or carbohydrate you should have, that is well and good. But then if you actually don't know that a particular class of food is actually a carbohydrate, then we might enter trouble, because you don't know that it is a carbohydrate. You won't eat it in the portion you're supposed to, because you don't even know that it was a carbohydrate, or know that, okay, this is actually a fat. So when I say, oh, fat, it's very small. If you don't know that this particular food is fat, then you wouldn't know that you should be eating small of it, because you didn't even know that if it was, it falls under fat when we're talking about the classes of food. So that's why that's one of the first things that I'm going to first do. There are going to be some foods that are not that obvious, but you'll be surprised that they're actually carbs or they're actually fats and so on. So let's just start with, so there are many classes. There are about the 5 major classes. So you have your carbohydrate, your protein, your fat, your vegetables, and your fruits. Okay, and your dairy products, that's your milk and yogurt and cheese, right? So now for your carbs, you have your grains. So grains, you have rice, you have wheat, you have and then you have the products from them. So you have corn and all the product from corn. So your cornflakes, your cereals, your Weetabix, your oatmeal, all those are under carbs. Okay, and then some of the ones that I know that are obvious is beans. Beans is actually a carb, but that's the thing. Beans is actually a combination of carbohydrate and protein. Growing up, if they asked me what class of food beans was, I'll say it's a protein. But the truth is, beans is it's kind of like on a class of its own, because it has a significant amount of carbohydrate and also a significant amount of protein. So it's neither there nor there, but it's very important that you know that beans has a significant amount of carbohydrates, and that's why you have problems when you're trying to do portion control. If you've already put rice on your plate and you're now adding beans, that means you've said, okay, I've said this is the amount of starch you should eat, so you put rice there as a starch. If you now add beans, then there's going to be a problem, especially after the beans. You now still go on to add, the chicken as well, or whatever it is. Then you see how the calories begin to pile up, but you're not really realizing, because you didn't realize how much the beans is actually contributing to that meal. All right. So that's for carbs. That's one meal that I know people are not really aware of. So when you think beans, remember that, just think about it as carbs. It does have a single amount of protein as well, but it also has carbs. Of course, then you have your protein. There's so many of them. So you have your fish, your chicken, your meat. You have all the seafoods in general. So fish, prawns, everywhere, the snails, and all the rest of them. Now, when it comes to protein and your choices of protein, what should guide your choice mostly is the amount of fat that it contains, because that's the thing. Now, unlike rice, unlike your starches, they don't come with any significant amount of fat, but your proteins can. So in your meat, when you buy meat, you can see all the white stuff around it. You can see the fat in your chicken. You can see it in your okay. So, all right. So in your meat, you can see your chicken. You can see the skin. You can see the fat. Now, generally, seafoods generally have less fat. So, in fish and stuff, in snails, in prawns, and all those things, even visually, you know that there's less amount of fat in them, except for maybe the oily fish. So, when I say oily fish, I think the most popular one in Nigeria is Titus. In their abroad, they call it mackerel. We call it Titus here. Now, it's an oily fish, but it's a good oily fish, all right? Now, the calories are more than your normal white fish, but it's advisable to have that fish at least twice a week, because of the oils there are really healthy, all right? So even though it's higher calorie, I generally use it as a sauce. So I do use it to make fish stew. Usually, I generally don't eat it like that, because I know that the calories can be quite high. So I rather use it to make a sauce so that I can use, kind of like a smaller amount. But generally, fishes are, in that respect, when it comes to fat, they have a significant lower amount of fat, which is great. But now, for your chicken and beef, all you need to do is, they come with this fat. All you need to do is remove it, all right, to reduce the calories. So there's the portion side of it, but then I think people also easily forget the quality aspect of it. So I can be holding one piece of chicken. One piece of chicken is one piece of chicken, but whether that piece of chicken is fried or not now makes a totally big difference. Okay, I can have, but the both of us, quantity wise, me and you can be eating the same thing. That's one piece of chicken. Maybe the size is the exact same, everything is the same, but maybe my own, I boiled it or I grilled it, but then your own is fried. Okay, so the fact that it is the same size is not enough. The fact that you have fried it has made the calories drop, and that's a problem. So even within so this is one of the things you should take away. There's portion control, which is that way you're talking about the quantity of food. But then if you don't also put into cognizance the quality of the food, that means your choices. So they served you meat now and there's fat all over the meat. That's a problem. So even though it's not a lot of meat, the fact that there's just all this fat around it is a problem. Because remember what I said earlier when I started? I said the way you lose weight is via calorie deficit. It's by eating lesser calories than your body needs. Okay, and the truth is, you don't have to, the food that you're eating does not have to be plenty before you would add weight. The food can be small or just a reasonable amount, but the calories can be so much because of these things I'm mentioning. So for example, you fried it, there's just so much fat around it. Sometimes I remove my skin, sometimes I don't. But me, I'm even trying to gain weight now, so I'm not removing skin from anything. Even today I had chicken breast though, but anyways, I'm not removing the fat. All right, I'm having my skin and everything with all joy. But if you're trying to lose weight, it's definitely something you want to consider to bring down the calories. Okay, and of course, frying is completely out of the question. All right, so that's it for proteins. Now let's talk about fat. So what are examples of fat? Of course, some of it is very obvious, like oil. Oil is very obvious. That one is there. Then besides oil, you now have things like nuts. So when I say nuts, your groundnuts, your cashew nuts, almonds, pistachios, all those nuts. All right, they provide fat. That is the major thing that is inside. They provide some protein, but it's little. The cocoa in it is fat. All right, you can just imagine you get groundnut oil from groundnuts, right? It just makes sense, right, that it does contain fat and it has a significant amount of fat. All right, so register that groundnuts and stuff are a class that in the fat class of things. Basically, they're fats. All right, and of course the butter that comes from it, so peanut butter as well, almond butter, whatever butter that comes from the nuts, they're also fat. Since the nut itself is a fat, so obviously the butter too will be a fat. Of course, butter, margarine, avocado. Okay, avocado is a fat. Now I know many of us jump and say, okay, yes, it's healthy fat. Yes, we're not talking about healthy or not healthy, but fat is fat. See, whether a fat is healthy or not does not reduce the calories. All right, it's the same number of calories. So now we're going to move on to talking about portions. All right, but it's very important that you know mentally where a particular food lies. So if it is a fat, now we'll move on to how much of it you should be having. But because you know it is a fat, now you know how to, so to speak, how to handle it. Now that you know what class it is under, it is very, very, very important that you know what class it's under. If you put a food under the wrong class in your mind, it can change the way you eat it. You might end up eating more than you should be eating of it because you put it under the wrong food class, basically. Alright, okay, the last one is dairy products. So your milk, your yogurt, and so on and so forth. So this one is pretty easy. I'll generally just say you should choose the skimmed version. So your skim milk, your low fat yogurt and stuff like that, you save a lot of calories. Now remember what I was saying, that there's quantity and then there's the calorie aspect, the quality aspect. So me and you can be taking the same quantity of milk, all right, but calorie wise it might not be the same thing, because maybe you are taking skim milk and I am taking full cream milk. Now for milk powder, if I'm doing if I take two tablespoons, if I heap it, 2 heaped tablespoons of full cream is 160 calories, of skimmed milk is 100, so I'm saving 60 calories if I do skim milk over, but it's the same quantity. All right, so both of us can be eating the same quantity of the same food, but certain things are making, our calories different, and that's why, one person will be succeeding and the other person might be struggling, with portion control, because they're just looking at the quantity aspect. But you really also need to be looking at the choices of those quantities that you're making. So what kind of protein did you choose? How was it cooked? What kind of what portion of fat did you choose? What kind of dairy products are you taking? It's very important. All right, so now let's move on to quantity, right? So we're going to start from top again. Now we're going to start with carbohydrates. I'm going to firstly use the plate method, but then I'm also going to mention there's another method you can use, which is the measuring cups. But the plate method is the easiest method, really. I shared the picture that I used to share today's post. Now, if you go back and look at it again after this class, basically the plate was divided into 3, right? So we had half of it, we had a quarter of it was filled with carbohydrate, which was, in that particular picture, it was rice. So a quarter of your plate should be filled with rice. And of course, the first rule, firstly, is to use a smaller plate when you're trying to use this method. Okay, don't go and carry on very, very big plates and then say, do I say ready to 4 and then fill this large, because of course size matters. A quarter of one plate can be a very different size from a quarter of another. I'm not telling you to use a saucer, right? Not as small as a saucer, but don't use a very large plate. All right, so a quarter of your plate, your carbs should not be more than a quarter of your plate. See what fits in there. So your rice, your spaghetti, for your bread, max 3 slices. Your yam. For your yam, for you to do the whole quarter measurement thing, I advise that you dice it. That's cut into cubes. Your yam, your potato, your plantain, you cut your plantain circle the way we used to cut it, but it should not be more than that. It should not be more than that quarter. That's for your carbs. All right, now then there's your protein. Now another quarter of the plate should be your protein. So your meat, your chicken, your fish, it should not also be more than a quarter. So for your chicken, I usually give the simple example of that if you buy fish, a medium-sized fish, the way they used to divide it into 3, you have head, middle, tail. So one middle, one tail, or one tail, that's like a piece, and that's a fine size. So one middle meat piece, or maybe one tail. All right, of course not a big fish. Like I said earlier, I said a medium-sized fish. Okay, so your fish, your chicken, one piece of chicken. Remember, we said it should be skinless. We said ensure that you're not frying your stuffs. Same thing with the carbs. Mentioned plantain, mentioned yam, mentioned potato. You're also not frying those. All right, you're not frying. You're boiling it. You are grilling it. Whatever you want to do, just don't fry. Okay, so that's for protein. Then now we have the last part of your. Oh my God, we're not talking about classes of food. I did not mention vegetables and fruits. Oh my goodness. Alright, so we have vegetables and fruits, and there's no big rule to those ones. Just eat. For your vegetables, you're trying to eat as much as possible. So using this plate method, half of your plate should be filled with vegetables. See, that is just the secret to you losing weight. You need to cut down on your carbs, and you need to increase your amount of vegetables, because your carbs will start looking smaller than it is. It's not small, it's just that we all grew up eating a certain amount of carbs. That's just how it has been. That's just a normal thing. That's what you're used to. So now when you're now all of a sudden coming to come and eat this smaller portion, it's going to be weird and it's going to look small, and you're going to feel like, I'm going to be really, really hungry. But the way to avoid the hunger, is to, what's the word now? Is to fill up on the vegetables. So your eforibo, your okra. Remember that quarter part I said, it can be eba that is there, or your wheat, or your whatever swallow that you like. So the vegetable cards can be okra, it can be ewedu, it can be, or if you want maybe rice, you can have a salad by the side. Hey Wendy, what's up? You can have a salad by the side. It can be anything. Okay, it can be any of those things. But of course, remember, now I'm going to talk about fat. Very important. For your fats, we're giving examples. We said oils, we said granules, nuts in general. Coconut, all right, is a fat. Coconut is a fat, and fats are generally very high in calories. Like, they contain twice the amount of calories that are in carbohydrates and protein. So when we keep screaming that you should use really small, this is one of the reasons why. your body biologically, that is your physiology, the way God made us, your body just needs more. All right, so don't give it more than that. Your body just needs more. All right, so when you're considering your oil, when you're considering eating things like granite and coconut, you need to eat small. Okay, you need to eat just little. So don't pack vegetables and then in the vegetable is now swimming in oil. You have spoiled everything. So now maybe your rice is looking good, you've gotten your protein, it's not too much, you didn't fry it, but then you now have this effort that the oil is just moving around the plate, that's even sipped under your rice, and there's just oil everywhere. All right, so now how small per serving personally? So for example, let me even give like egg. Now I want to fry egg. If I want to fry 2 eggs, I don't use more than 5 mils of oil. And let me show you. 5 mils of oil is a teaspoon. Now I mentioned I was going to talk about measuring cups, but see, this is 5 mils. It's small. All right, it's not a lot, but this is a teaspoon. All right, and I don't use more than this. So if I wanted to cook F4, for example, generally I usually do not more than 5 mils of oil per serving of whatever it is that I want to cook. So I want to cook F4 now, and I'm cooking for, I have an idea of how many people, how many times I want to eat it, or how many times I want to cook for. So let's say I'm cooking for 6 times. So usually I buy like, it depends now, ugu, I don't know if it's just me, but ugu seems to become expensive of recent. But anyways, I buy like 200 naira ugu and I eat it 3 times. If I want to cook ugu for 6 different times, I'll buy like maybe 400 naira ugu for my 4. So in my mind, I'm already calculating how I'm going to divide that. I'll talk about it, and how I'm going to divide that. This is also important. So if I know in my head that this F4 I'm cooking, I want to eat it 6 times, I'm going to do 5 meals times 6. That's going to be 30 meals, because I want each plate, each time I eat that F4, I want to have just 5 meals of oil in it. It's going to be small. It seems small, but trust me, it's enough. You can cook with it. Alright, you can. So how do you measure 30 meals? So that's 5 meals. So you can do it 6 times, but this is a tablespoon. So this tablespoon, that's 15. This is 15 meals. So that means I'll be doing 2 of this. So let's cook F4 for 3 times. So I was doing for 6 times. I want to do for 3 times. I'll use 15 meals, which is 3 times 5, right? Now for things like coconut and granite for a snack, for granite, 20 granules is like 100 calories. That's if you count it. That means for a snack, ideally you shouldn't be doing more than that, 20. Remember I said it is a fact. So the same way we're trying to mice the oil is the same way you're going to be micing your granite and things. For coconut, I don't even know how to describe the size. It's difficult to describe size of coconut, to be honest. Except I don't know. I'm going to describe it, but really small. Alright guys, so let us okay, so now I've described the full plate method, the way your plate should look. So you have your carbs, 1/4 of your plate, your protein, 1/4 of your plate, and then you have your vegetables, the entire remaining half of your plate. I think that's how your plate should look. But now, of course, this method will not work all the time, depending on what it is that you're doing. So for example, now I want to eat cornflakes. This method cannot work for cornflakes because Tribe Naturals, hi Mofe, hi, welcome everyone. So this method not cannot work for something like cornflakes. I want to eat oats and stuff like that. So today now I ate I did pasta, but I mixed everything up together. I didn't do side by side things. It was a one pot thing where I mixed everything together. This method will not work in this situation, and this is kind of situations where you want to consider measuring cups. All right, so what are measuring cups? They're just these sets of plastics. So now it's a set. It's different sizes. Now you won't see it, but it's labeled. You won't be able to see it, but there's a label here. So this one now says 1/8 cup, 31 mils. This one says quarter cup. This one says 1/3 cup. This one says half cup. Then this is the biggest cup among them all. This is your 1 cup. All right. So what I'm going to do is, so you need to get your cups. All right. Because as I said, while you want to do portions, the plate method that I said earlier, there are situations where it just will not work. All right, which is where your measuring cups will definitely come into play. But before I go on, when I was talking about the plate method, so you can round up that meal with a small fruit, so maybe one small apple, one banana, one small orange, and so on and so forth. So you can do that 3 times a day, like your 3 different meals, or you can eat the fruit as like a snack, right? So you can do those 3 different portions of fruit. You can either have it morning, afternoon, night with your meal, or instead of doing that, you can decide to not have it during the meal and keep it later as a snack or something. So now let's move on to measuring cups. So for something like your starches, I'm just trying to this isn't a, how will I put it now, this information is very general, right? It's not very, very specific. I mean, it's not like I'm creating a very specific personalized plan for anybody, but there are general guidelines that work for most people, not 100% of people, because we're all different and we all have different weights and different physical activity and many other things, but it should work for most people. So for your starches, especially your cooked starch, so when you're thinking your cooked rice, your cooked pasta, remember I said beans is under starch. Your beans, you should be doing cooked dough. You shouldn't be doing more than 1 cup. All right, so you fill this cup up, and as in you fill it up to the brim and to just be flat like this. You know, you're not going to heap it. It's just going to be flat. Yes, the cups are available in, yes, the big ones usually have excuse me, the big supermarkets do have. And even if you don't get big supermarkets, if you go to the market and you ask for anybody that sells baking materials, that's people who sell things that bakers use, their materials, they always have, because bakers are the people that use it the most. They use it to measure their flour and all those things. So they'll definitely have, and it's very inexpensive. I mean, I sell for 1,000 naira. It's really, and I've had this for a long time, for a very long time now, and it's fine. Okay. Lagos market as cheap as 500. Can you imagine? All right then. So okay, yeah, so I was talking about your cooked starches. So your rice, your beans, your pasta in general, spaghetti, whichever kind of pasta that it is, cooked version, not uncooked. So you have cooked it, finished, you will now carry this thing and measure and use it, right? Now it's not all the time that it's cooked, it depends on what you're cooking. Now that's for the things I mentioned. So now you now have things like coca oats, you have things like pap, you have things like custard, things like that. Those ones you're going to measure uncooked. That means you're going to the raw thing, and that one you shouldn't be using more than you'll be using half cup to measure. That's the raw thing, right? So not more than half cup to measure. So your oat, your pap, things like that, not more than half cup. So you measure it, then you now cook it the way you cook it normally. Now the reason why I usually prefer people measuring it raw is because we like it different. So me, I might like my own very watery. Maybe I like my pap watery. Maybe you like your pap. Maybe you prefer your pap thick. Your oat thick, or your tapioca and things like that. And because of that difference, when we measure, both of us, when we measure 1 cup, the calories will not be the same. Because if my own is more watery, in the end it means I have less pap in itself in my own and more water. So that means my own will have less calories than your own that is very thick, even though it's the same 1 cup. So for it to be uniform, I prefer to measure when it's still raw. Then however way you want to cook it, let it be watery like tap water, it will still have this amount of the pap in it, and so that way the calories will be universal, right? So I think that's for that. And then okay, yes, then you now have things like yam, like sweet potato, like plantain. Those ones, how you measure it, people always ask me, how will I measure yam with cup? What you do, you have to dice it. Of course, the way yam comes, the way sweet potato comes, it's not like rice that is like grains. So what you do for you to be able to measure it is you dice it like cubes. all right, so that it can enter the cup and you can measure. So for those ones, you do 1.5 cup. Now there is no cup that they write 1.5. You combine. So this is 1 cup, this is half cup. So you bring these 2 cups together to form 1.5 cup. All right, I think that's pretty simple. All right, so that's for measuring cups for starches. For protein, I don't usually use cups to measure protein. It's just weird. Except if what I'm cooking involves shredding, which is, I don't think I want to discuss that. But I think the what do I call it now? I think the method that I mentioned earlier should suffice for the protein aspect of things. Now for fats, as I mentioned earlier, I think I already gave some examples. I said I usually don't do, where is it now? Okay. I usually don't do more than 5 meals per serving, and I think I tried to also explain. Please, if you're just coming, welcome, but please ensure you catch the replay. There are a lot of things that I mentioned that I might not be able to recap, but basically how to measure how much what do you call it, how much oil you should use, depending on what you're cooking. So even for like I cooked pasta today. Now I ate pasta today. The pasta, the way that I made it, I made Maxi. Hi, I made it for 3 times because I plan to eat it 3 times this week. And although because I want to eat it 3 times, I used 15 mils of oil. So that each time, so usually by the time I'm done cooking, I usually separate it. Like I put it in different containers once I'm done cooking. So I know that each portion will now have just 5 mils of oil. That's how I measure my own stuff out. That's how I usually measure it. So that's for oil. And then except for nuts, for groundnuts, like 20 groundnuts is like 100 calories for a snack. For what they call this thing? For cashew, you're talking about 12. For almonds, max. Almonds just about 10. So this is what I'm saying. So now I cook it. So this is 1 portion, right? I cooked it and then I separate it into my tiny these things, and that's what I usually always do. So I have 2 extra. I ate 1 today, then I have that 1. I have 2 extra for the other times that I plan to eat it. But it just helps make my life easy because I just bring it out like that from the fridge and microwave and so on and so forth. And then my chicken is in the freezer that I grew from last week. Now for so I mentioned fats. Now vegetables, there's not lots of rules. As much as you can pack inside, put it inside. I made fried rice last week and somebody said that is vegetable, and then I just sprinkled rice on top, like vegetable more than the rice. That's how I make my fried rice. Because I mean, in the end, if you're putting just 1 cup of this thing, it's not plenty. It's not. So if you're going to be full, you just have to put in the vegetables. As in, you're not micing vegetables here. You're putting it there. Let's be plenty. Alright. Then of course for your fruits, I already mentioned earlier, you should be targeting at least 2 to 3 servings of fruits per day. So 2 to 3 servings. And whether you decide to eat it with your meal, whether you decide to eat it as a snack, whatever time that you decide to eat it, it's not really important. Cocoa is that at the end of the day, you eat 2 to 3 servings of fruits per day. So the question of course is, okay, what is 1 serving of fruits? And I've given examples earlier. So I said like 1 small apple, 1 pear, 1 small pear, 1 small orange, a medium-sized mango. Okay, but of course there are some fruits that don't come like small like that. So you have things like pineapple and pawpaw and watermelon that are really big. And so of course that means you have to find a way to measure those, and your cups can also come back to play. Is there a match right now? Your cups will come into play again. So like for watermelon, 1 cup is fine. Oh my god. For watermelon, 1 cup is fine. For, I think I need to drink water. I hate this water. Okay. Bread. I said breads. Generally, I don't do more than 3 slices. So hot fresh bread. Don't do more than 3 slices in general. In fact, if depending, if really if you're a smaller person, you should probably be looking at just 2 slices. But if you feel like no, you cannot do 2, you want to kill me, max 3. They just cannot do. Don't do more than 3. Yeah, so you told me you have to add. That's the only way. You have to pour in veggies. Like as I said, you're not mixing it. You're pouring it inside. Let it be plenty. Alright, so I was talking about fruit. So I said for like watermelon, 1 cup is fine. But for like your pineapple and mango, you probably want to do like 2/3 cup, not the entire cup. And the reason is that pineapple and mangoes, they do have a little more calories than your watermelon. So for example, now a cup of, that's why I'm using cups and slices. It doesn't really vary that much. It can be wheat bread or it can be white bread. It's not that much. There's a different, of course, wheat bread will be better because you feel fuller on wheat bread than white bread. Let's be frank. If you eat 2 slices of wheat bread and you eat 2 slices of white bread, you will be fuller on wheat bread because of the fiber, right? But calorie wise, it's like a 10 to 20 calorie difference. It's not a very, like significant difference. All right, but the fiber is great. It'll help keep you full. It'll help and I check out that. Don't worry, WePlay. So is it applicable to a breastfeeding mom? With a breastfeeding mom, it's a little more it's a little more complex. You can do all these things I'm saying, right? But try to eat 1 extra meal. Okay? Like try to add one extra meal because you need extra energy for the breastfeeding, that's to produce milk. Okay, so after you eat your normal 3 times a day, so you can add like 1 more portion. So you can have like maybe the half cup of oats that I mentioned earlier. You can add that maybe with, okay, we'll still talk about milk. You can add milk or something, but you need to eat a little extra than somebody that is compared to somebody that's not breastfeeding, basically, because your body uses the energy to bring the milk forth. Okay, so what was I? Alright, so stop distracting me. I was talking about fruit. Pineapple and mango have a little more calories, so you eat a little less of those. So if I'm going to do 1 cup of watermelon, if I'm doing pineapple, I'm doing like 2 of it, like 2/3 of the cup for pineapple and mango. Now I'll talk about what 1/7 of fruit can be. So now that's 1/7, and I say you're supposed to be doing like 2 to 3 sevens per day. All right, so I can try to have 1 apple, 1 cup of watermelon, 1 medium size of mango, stuff like that, something like that. For pawpaw 2 is similar to watermelon calories, so you can do up to 1 cup of those as well. Corn is actually quite amazing because the calories are fair, and not just fair, it has a very good amount of fiber, which ensures that you stay full. So it's difficult to say number of calories when it comes to like if I'm talking about the whole corn now, because size obviously varies, right? But if you're going to if they've removed the corn from the body, I'd like to say hi. But if they have removed the corn from the body, half cup is 80 calories if they are removed corn from body. But from like the cob itself, like a small cob would also be around about 80 calories thereabouts. A small cob. But if grapes, yes, for grapes. Now wait, which grapes are you talking about? Either one of those small grapes or like the big, if it's a big grape like that one that's kind of bitter, the one that looks like orange, half of a large one is a serving of fruit, right? But if those the small sweet ones, half cup. I don't know, I can't find my half cup. Okay, yes. So half of it's grapes. So let me just go through it again. What is 1 serving of fruit? Remember, I say you're supposed to have 2 to 3 a day. So 1 serving of fruit is can be one small orange, one small banana, one small apple, one small pear, one medium mango, 1 cup of watermelon, 2/3 cup of pineapple, 1 cup of pawpaw. Somebody mentioned grapes just now. For your grapes, 1/2 cup of grapes. For my veggies, no, I don't really measure. I just put it. They have calories though. They're not, vegetables are not like 0 calorie, but because the calories are like they're small, I don't bother. I really don't bother. That there's so many other things I'm measuring. I don't measure my vegetables. I just put it, and I'm putting it in my mind because I'm like, okay, I need to be full. All right, so I'm just putting the amount to make sure I am full with this meal. But in general, but that's the thing too, also varies widely. But in general, 1 cup of vegetables is about 25 calories, but it really varies because let me say mixed vegetables about 25 calories per cup, because for like ugu now, or like green leaves in general, so ugu, spinach, water leaf, all those the green leaves, they are usually the lowest. They're about, so you have like 7 calories per cup. Just this entire cup, if you fill it with vegetables, just 7 calories. If you fill this entire cup with cooked rice, it's 205. Okay, and F4 and ugu is just 7. All right, watermelon, 1 cup of this watermelon, if you dice it and fill it up to the brim here, is 50 calories. Okay, so but that's for ugu. If I'm talking okra now, if I dice okra, I do okra and I pour it inside here, is about 33. Carrots, 1 cup, if I dice and pour it inside here, carrots is about 44. So you can see that there's it can really vary. I think cabbage is about 30 something as well. Cucumber is also very, very low. So it really varies. Garden eggs, 1 large garden egg is about 13 calories. Well, 13 calories. So it really varies. But I just use an estimate. That's if I mix it up, that means if I do green beans, green pepper, carrots, cabbage, I mix. I do just estimate it around 25 to 30. But don't bother your head too much about it. So where are we? Okay, so yes, before I forget, milk. So what content of milk should we be doing? So ideally, you can have like a serving of milk per day, depending. So now milk is it's a very fantastic food because it falls everywhere, and that's why I like to separate it. Milk falls under carbohydrates, it falls under protein, it falls under fat. It contains all 3. And I said earlier that beans has 2. It has carbohydrates, it has protein. But milk has 3. The 3 major things. It has everything in it, which is why it's very, very amazing, and which is why many times we like to just separate it and let it be on its own, because it's difficult. You can't really put it under any class because it just contains everything, right? So I mentioned earlier that you can do 2 heaped spoons. It's like a serving, so 2 tablespoons if you heap it, or there is a 1/3 cup. So 1/3 cup, and you will so you level it. So 1/3 cup is also a serving. But many times I usually prefer just using my spoon so that I don't have to carry my measuring cups more than is necessary. Yeah, there's stuff like your cereal. Yeah, so like your cornflakes, I think just for cornflakes you can do up to 1.5 cup. But when you start talking, but for like things like Golden Morn, Weetabix, All Brand, Fruit and Fiber, Frosties, all those other ones, don't do more than 1 cup. It's really, and most of the time I know people have it for breakfast, so 1 cup is fine. But for cornflakes, you can do 1.5, so 1 plus half, like I showed you earlier, right? So yeah, I think that's it, pretty much. So besides all now these things, that I'm just going to share with us some other tips to help you, and one of them is start with water. Someone says, please, what about corn? I am so addicted to it. Every evening we log out here and coconut. See what we're saying. That local pear and coconut are both fats. I remember what I said earlier about fats, that you just need little. And when I say little, I mean little. And many of us end up eating them like we're eating fruit or we're eating carbohydrates. Okay, you need lesser than the amount of carbohydrate you have. You need really little amounts of it. So eating both pear and coconut in the same sitting itself is not even advisable. You have to choose one, and even the one you are choosing, you're going to take small. So like your fruit for a snack, and that's another thing. Is this a whole meal? Is it a snack? Snacking is one of the places where we get into trouble. Some things that we eat that we call snacks is an entire meal in itself. Now, it might not look like a lot, that's quantity wise, but calorie wise, you have eaten an entire meal and you don't know, because that thing you're eating was high in calories. Like the coconut and the ube. Now you sit down, you eat one corn, you eat ube, you eat coconut. The coconut and ube, maybe you take two ube, you eat the coconut. It's not looking too much, but I'm telling you, the calories you've consumed there. Or some snacks like plantain chips, potato chips. It's snacks, Abby. The calories in that thing there is like it's food. The food that you're supposed to eat for lunch, you'll be eating it for snacks. You will not be wondering why you're not losing weight. That's why. Yes, pear is fat. It's like, in a way, I see pear as like local. It's like I see it like a smaller version of avocado. Avocado is also fat, okay? So it's not a fruit that you just sit down and be eating plenty of. Now, for people who are on keto diets, the story is a little different too, because they are eating, what's the word now? They're not eating carbohydrates, so they have allowance to eat more fat. But you that you're at, there's rice on your plate, you still want to eat beans, and there's eba on your plate, you cannot be eating fat like the people that are on keto. You may just be deceiving yourself. Alright, so I was saying that some other tips that I like to share. Start with water. When I say start with water, that just means at the beginning of every meal, drink water. Now remember, many of the issues we have is staying full or not being full. So drinking water before you even start eating helps a lot with that process. It's very easy to forget. I mean, when there's food in front of you, what you want to do is to eat the food. Most of us forget. Alright. Yay! Chills box, yes, I definitely do. I always encourage my clients to send me pictures of their food. So if you need accountability, yes, I have personalized one-on-one programs. I'll be happy to help you. Okay, just send me a DM after. All right. If you know how I used to think of healthy food, yeah. You finish first with banana bread. Let me quickly talk about banana bread though. Now banana bread is healthy, but calorie wise, you have to also think of the calories. Just a food being healthy is not enough to help you lose weight. It's the amount of calories in the food that helps you lose weight. But at the same time, because you're also trying to be healthy while you're losing the weight, is why we say choose healthy options. But bottom line, if your calories are too much, no matter how healthy that food is, let's be the super of all foods, you will not lose weight. So there are certain foods that find they're healthy, just like the granules we're talking about. You say, but the fats in granules is healthy. Yes, it's healthy, but it's healthy in small amounts. Once you start overdoing it, you spoil everything because you just start adding unnecessary weight. Okay, same thing with banana bread. You need to be careful. Things like banana bread and things like that, I just reserve them for people on like keto, because see what she said now, like a slice is like 200 calories. A slice of a normal white bread, okay, is between 80 to 100 calories. A slice of banana bread is way more. So you need to be careful. That's how to shake. Let me shake it now. It's the fact. I'm not saying it's not a banana bread, but know what you're eating. That's why I always say I never have a problem with you eating something. But it's one thing when you're eating, it's another thing for you to know what you're actually eating. Okay, so don't deceive yourself and sit down and be eating a lot of it, because it is healthy, but then you're actually now trying to lose weight. and it just doesn't make sense. Faisha, what's up? How many calories is ideal for a day women? It's in the book. Oh, how to calculate it? There's no general number. There's no general number, and it also depends on your goal. So, are you trying to lose weight? Are you maintaining? Are you trying to gain? Yes, and granola too. Niger girl on the diet. You need to be careful. So there are a lot of healthy foods, and I'm not saying they're not healthy, but you need to be very careful with quantity, especially when you're trying to lose weight. Your friend is arguing, okay, there's no general number, you need to calculate it. It depends on your weight, depends on your level of physical activity, your age will determine how many calories per day for a woman. Of course, your sex too. So if you check, I'm sure you have your book. The formula is in the book, and also, as I said earlier, what's your goal? Is the person trying to lose weight? Is the person trying to maintain? Is the person trying to gain? Those things also affect how many calories you'll be eating. All right. So just be careful of what you eat and know what you're eating. So if you want to take banana bread, you want to take granola, those things are healthy, but they have a lot of calories in a small amount. So that means when you're eating them, eat small amount. So ideally, if somebody was to eat what they call it, a banana bread, I'll say they should eat one slice. I'll say they should eat one slice. I'll say they should max 1.5 slices, but you need to be very, very careful. So for granola too, think of granola, I prefer to think of granola like a topping rather than like I know people that eat it like a cereal, like they sit down, they eat it, and then they take a good amount and then they add yogurt on top. No. Okay? You can have your yogurt and then you can sprinkle some granola on it to just garnish it, because the calories in it is significant. Is that a problem with a plantain? See, I always say it's not this healthy eating and everything. It's not a destination. No, it's a journey. You get there. Don't worry. The Lord is your strength. How many slices of white bread do you eat? I mean, what's the minimum you can eat right now? All right. So I said earlier. So my first tip is start with water. For those of us that have kids and those of us that have people that are living with us, leave people's food alone. Leave people's food alone. Don't be choking hand inside people's food. If you're eating your own, you're not tasty. Your child not finish their food. You not say, don't let me waste this food though. Let me not waste it and help my child finish their food. Leave the food alone. Minimum of 4 slices. Fair. 4 is plenty. And you said minimum, which means that sometimes you even do more than 4. Voila, there's voila. There's serious voila. There's like a lot in diet. ACV. That's apple cider vinegar for other people watching. Okay, now apple cider vinegar helps not with everybody, but some people it helps them lower their appetite, reduce their appetite. But I realize it doesn't work for everybody. I've told some people to take it works. I told some people to take it, they say it no work. So it's not a general thing. Number 2, it helps to boost metabolism. That means it increases the rate at which your body burns calories. However, all these things it is an adjunct, of course. Now I'm saying it's for general diets. I know you know this already. Don't go and be taking only apple cider vinegar and think it's solve all your problems. The main solution, okay, is your diet, getting your diet right, eating the right amount of calories. You can use this method that we have elaborated on. If you came late, please ensure you watch the replay. I'll ensure that it's available in my stories. And then doing of course, working out to burn more calories. But it is an adjunct, basically. It just helps the process. All right, it's not a solution in itself. But those are 2 major things I know it helps with: metabolism boost and appetite suppressant. But for the appetite one, I know that one it doesn't work for everybody. So yes, somebody said children automatically turn their mother into dustbin when they can't finish their food. Please don't let them turn you into dustbin. You cannot be that dustbin. You're eating your own. After you're eating your own, that's it. The one that your children did not eat that's it. That's the end. If you want to keep it for them for later, I don't know. But please stop choking and inside their food. All right, you're just adding unnecessary calories, and many times you're not even remembering that you're eating it. You won't really count it as part of your food. It's not that thing I just put in my mouth now. Stop it. Okay, stop it. Another one that I'm going to mention, which is going to be funny, especially when you go out to eat. You know how sometimes when you're going for O&B, you're going for something, and you're like, and when you're choosing your dress, especially when you know your mind that this place, I'm going there to go and eat, I'm going there to go and scatter ground with food, and it informs your choice of dress. That means you're like, I can't wear something too tight too, because there has to be space. Wear something tight, okay? You know when you wear something tight, something that's a little fitting. By the time you're eating, by the time you can feel the clothes getting tighter, your stomach is already coming out. At least to caution you small that it's as if this food is enough. I'm telling you, it works. Wear fitted clothes, wear it so that you will not eat too much. When the clothes is free and you know that nothing will show, like I eat as you want and nobody will know. Stop it. When you're going out, wear something fitted. Let the clothes be the one telling you and see that will do, so you can stop. Alright, or even generally during the day, just you feeling, it just helps you feel your tummy. Alright, and another thing is, even after you've portioned your food, you finish eating the portion, you're now feeling like, I'm not full. Number one, of course, still drink water. Number two, wait before you say, I'm not full, I want to go and eat. Just wait like 20 minutes. Okay, just give your body that time. Sometimes your body takes time to realize that it is full. All right. And you told me, yes, no, obviously, of course, it depends though. If I want to do my hair, you want to do fine hair, you want to manage the way I eat the food. Of course, sometimes you can decide not to care. Let the stomach look and how it wants to look. You say, this food, I must eat it, I will enjoy it and finish it. But at least, it can help small. Hopefully, it just help put small resistance to your mouth. Okay, so I was saying that you should leave some time after eating, just to give your body time to realize that it's full. Sometimes between your stomach and your brain, right, there's like a time lapse. So your tummy is actually full, but your brain has not really gotten the message. And so just give your body that time. So at this moment, you might feel like I can still eat more, or maybe I still, this food was not enough. Just give small time. In 20 minutes, you might realize that I'm actually fine, and that's it. And you move on with life. All right. So somebody asked about salad cream. What's your take on using salad cream? See, and you can use, it's just like oil. You can use oil, you can use salad cream. It's just quantity. Yes, Neta girl on its diet. I love you. So she says use Remia Italian dressing. Is it that low? Is it 8? I don't know if it's that low. I know it's like half is like 2. Maybe like 20 something. I'm not really sure of that brand, but basically look for things that have, it might not even be Remia, but you'll find something that is like Italian dressing or French dressing also has low amount. Actually, if you're doing those ones, it's actually, you can use normal cream. If you're using normal cream, don't use more than a tablespoon. So this has 1 TBSP, that's tablespoon, 15 mils. And when you're measuring it, when you pack it, don't build house on it. That's already more than 15 mils. 15 mils is when you pack it and you level it. That's 15 mils. If you just pack and there's house on top, you have taken more than 15 mils on your own. Level it. That's 15 mils. That's for normal cream, right? But if you're doing something low fat, so something low fat can be the Italian dressing that she mentioned. There's also French dressing. I think Remia is actually relatively popular. So that one you'll be able to do up to 2 because it has a significantly less amount of calories. So you'll be able to do 2 tablespoons, and you'll be able to dress your salad more that way. You don't level off. Yeah, on your own. Alright. So I think that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for for your questions. Thank you for holding it down with me today. I almost did not do today's class because I was just coughing so much and I felt horrible. But then I'm like, I always feel better after I teach. Teaching makes me happy. So I'm happy that I decided to do it anyways. Yes, I love you guys too. Thank you so much. Alright, so after all this gist that I have said and many more, if you don't have my book yet, I don't know what to say to you. Alright, it's just 2,000. So it's titled What Should I Be Eating, and it's the ultimate weight loss guide for Nigerians. So all the things that I've mentioned, your portion control, the plate method, there's also something called the food exchange method, calorie counting method, you'll be able to learn them there. And it also comes with what do you call this thing? Oh, thank you. And there's also some there are also meal plans, sample meal plans in it that you can start following. I recently put up a what do you call it, a testimonial from somebody just before I went live, and I'm just so happy. Every time somebody sends me a review, I think she lost like 6 kg in 1 month, and I'm just super excited about it. And so many people have lost weight. Some of them are here. Thank you for Ishaya and Naja Girl on the diet. So if you are serious about getting all of these things together, ensure that you get it. Alright, and it's super affordable. The soft copy 2,000, the hard copy is also 2,000. Just send me a copy to get yours. Alright guys, I think I call it a night, and I can go and reply my plenty DMs. People have been DMing me. Alright guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful night, and of course I'll see you same time next week. It might not be here, it might be another person's page, I'm not sure yet, but I'll definitely see you guys next week. Soft copy price 2,000, the same price. 2,000 soft copy, 2,000 hard copy, 2,000. Alright guys, let me take a selfie before I go. Bye bye. You're welcome, Jeff. Bye. If you came late, don't worry, the replay will be up. So just go to my stories and choose live. Oh, your son's namesake. Awesome. Nice. Bye guys. Night. If you're just coming, watch the replay. So usually I know many people just say they don't find the replay. When you click on stories, you might see my stories first, but in the lower section you see an option for story, and then you see an option for live. So click live and you'll be able to watch the replay. All right, good night.